The Center Mall, located on 42nd and Center, dedicated and opened on October 29, 1955. It was the first fully enclosed mall in the United States and said to be the most beautiful building in the world. Though later this would be debated, it was truly the first built indoor mall. Architect and designer John Wiebe dreamt up the concept of the center after a conversation with his wife, who was tired of sitting in traffic to get to the then downtown.
The famous Center Mall started off as a small, dirty hill, hence its original nickname of Dirty Hills. It soon became a full-fledged mall with Yonkers as its anchor store. Other stores like Tober's, Kenny Shoes, and Center Bank surfaced at the beginning as well. Also among these stores was a beauty shop, fabric store, and even a music shop.
Businesses were booming. The Center Mall, where it was originally seen by outsiders as a weird concept to have many stores under the same roof, was exceptionally popular and becoming useful and convenient for people living around Center Street. The building of the Center Mall demonstrated the rising American ideology that convenience and novelty were what's important. This concept quickly took flight through the building of even more malls in the Omaha area, consisting of the Crossroads and Westroads Mall being completed in 1960 and 1968 respectively. Competition was on the horizon for the center, but the mall offered even more than just stores and a place to shop.
This stuff, the building, because of the era, this was also a bomb shelter, and there was a time. It had probably been in the 60s, where there was a big fear that we were going to get bombed. And I grew up in a rural area, and there was farmers, they literally built shelters, and this was a shelter. So we had all the stuff you would need if you had to go in the shelter. There was food, there was water, there was all that. And it was built, the strength of the building, it was a place you could go and you'd be safe.
While the specifics of how many could actually be sheltered there are uncertain, it is believed to have had enough room for many people who lived around Center Street.
Its heyday didn't last for long, though. Only 14 years after its grand opening, in 1969, a fire erupted in one of the restaurants on the 5th floor. This wiped out many of the stores, and it took 2 years before the Center Mall could reopen to meet code standards. Although Yonkers was still at Center Mall once it opened back up from the fire, many had already moved out. This was the start of slow traffic that eventually left Center Mall with no stores.
By 1971, the Center Mall was up and running again, this time constructing more to the 5th floor, even adding a bowling alley. This gave it a friendly family vibe and offered a place for many local bowlers to practice. It also was a good place for teens to hang out. While the Center Mall was slowly losing sales, a popular restaurant, the Panther Room, surfaced. It was owned by Tony Greco, who also operated several other places around Omaha. This bar was famous for its live jazz band, but during its years of operation, a conspiracy arose that we just could not turn away from.
And there was a fire there as well. But the story has it that the night before they took a nice pretty grand piano out, and then the next day they had a fire. So there's a suspicion about whether that was said or not.
This fire was also the worst fire Center Mall could have experienced, slowing down its declining business even more.
Through the 80s and early 90s, the mall remained a place for shoppers to come, but was still losing steam. Finally, in 1998, Yonkers decided to pack up and leave. This left 120,000 square feet, along with virtually no shoppers. After Yonkers moved, the mall was left with a bank, beauty salon, and other small stores, but these didn't last long as their sales plummeted to an all-time low. Eventually, in the early 2000s, the bowling alley closed down and in came new places. Though the community bowlers revolted at this, new lanes were opened in other parts of town, providing them a new practice location. The Center Mall transitioned from a mall to the business center it is today. Its diverse set of tenants spread throughout the 5 floors. Some of the businesses found there today are government-run organizations, a house of cards for seniors, a belly dancing studio, a convenience store, and of course, a bank. Every few years, larger companies move out, and new ones refill the spaces left abandoned.
I started working at the Center Mall in 2006 to 2008 as an employment specialist with the YWCA, known as the Women's Center for Advancement.
What's in the future? Well, with the center always changing and the surrounding neighborhoods shifting, their goal is to adapt to the times. With this in mind, their next desire is to open up a daycare center for the neighborhood families. Although this is not certain, Randy is hopeful it will happen within the next few years.
The center has become a place in constant orbit, continually changing and altering with the times. This representation of the American mentality only enhances the importance of the center. Not only was it the first enclosed mall built in the United States, representing our materialistic desires, but it shows what a community coming together can look like. The center has been a place where people can come and experience happiness together, whether as a shopper or store owner. Many of the tenants were there 30-plus years, forming bonds and connections that demonstrate the value of our nation's history. This corner lot might change with the times, but it will always have a special place in our city and nation's story.
And that was a year or so ago, and all of a sudden a freaking branch, okay, almost got it's a modified cuss word.